It's 5 minutes with me.
Hey friends, Marko here. Welcome to 5 Minutes with Marko, the shortest youth ministry podcast out there. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the paradoxes of middle schoolers. I've spent about 40 years now in ministry with middle schoolers, and they truly are my favorite humans, which might be more of a reflection of my own maturity than anything else. Along the way, I've learned a few things, not the least of which is the need for a healthy appreciation of paradox, which we could define as two truths that seem to be in conflict with one another, but remain simultaneously true. Young teens completely embody every meaning of the word paradox. In so many ways, they seem to be both one thing as well as the exact opposite. This can be quite maddening and paradoxically quite exciting. It's all about transition, baby. Here's just a list of a few paradoxes you might notice. By the way, it seems like it should be paradi, doesn't it? The plural of paradoxes? Anyhow, here's the first one. Young teens can be incredibly trusting, but will only listen to somebody who's honest and transparent. Young teens often don't have the jaded skepticism of their older teen brothers and sisters. They're very willing to trust, a wonderful characteristic that shouldn't be missed. This time of life is, in many ways, a last stop refueling station into the long desert drive of adolescence. Take this opportunity to build on that trust, to show that your word is good. At the same time, they're beginning to develop a more adult sense of detecting fakes. If you want to be an example to middle schoolers, if you want to continue in a role of impacting their lives, it's essential that you do so through a commitment to honesty and vulnerability. This can be pretty tough, even threatening. When you're wrong, it's crucial that you admit it. If they sniff out insincerity or hypocrisy in you and your words, you'll quickly lose your place of leadership in their lives. Second, they'll catch less than you'd think, yet they're savvier than you'd expect. This is a tricky one, but it's so true. Because the life of a young teen is all about change, physical, intellectual, spiritual, emotional, psychological, they have a huge tendency toward in one ear and out the other behavior. You've certainly experienced this. You explain to that girl why a certain behavior is a bad choice, and 2 hours later, she seems to have no memory of that discussion. Often that's because she really doesn't have a memory of that discussion. But at the same time, young teens are developing a very savvy ability to see through charades, to understand when they're being marketed to, and to be aware of consequences. Often, what happens with kids at this age is that they're savvy enough to understand a situation, but not enough to apply it to their lives. Third paradox, they want to be treated like adults, but have the opportunity to act like children. Man, this has enormous implications. They're caught in an in between world. They have ideas about where they want to go. They know they want to be treated like adults, to have more freedoms, to make more decisions on their own, to not be treated as if they were 9-year-olds. It's important to talk to young teens with an adult voice and to begin to move into a come alongside posture. But at the same time, they are still very much children and need the opportunity to act that out without pressure to grow up too soon. A girl may move out of her childhood music choices, but still love to play with childhood toys. Allow her to live in that space. A boy may desire to sit at the adult table at family gatherings, but still keep a childhood stuffed animal on his bed. Don't rush them into adulthood, but don't treat them like little kids anymore. And finally, some are really young adults, while some are really children, and most are both. The reality is this: it's not that the young teens in your ministry are either a child or a young adult with some magic line being crossed at some point. It's that he or she is both at the same time. Young teens aren't just in between, it's an overlapping zone. Childhood remains while they've already stepped into the first spaces of the young adult world. Living with paradox isn't easy for us or for them. But it's not only a reality of the young teen years, it's somehow part of God's wonderful design for this transition to healthy independence, interdependence, and adulthood. Have fun living in the tension.
The Youth Cartel Podcast Network.